Hello everyone and welcome to Absolutely Akhilee. We've started this new podcast that Sit Down with Stand-Ups.
Where we will decode the life and journey of a stand up comic. Please welcome one of my favorite comics. But before that, let's hear from him about life. The man who can give you a reality check.
Everybody's funny to four more people. Everyone. Everyone you look on the right and everyone you look on the left is funny to at least four more people. The transition is from the drawing room to the stage.
The man who firmly believes that an artist is an artist.
It is not gender specific ever. It is a good comic or a bad comic specific.
The man who knows his game.
मेरी जिंदगी में ज़्यादा एग्जाम्पल्स है कि कौन सी चीज़ें नहीं करनी चाहिए.
The man who is practical enough.
You have to try to take one day at a time. One day as in कि आज सुबह उठो और शाम तक मरो मत. That's my plan. Get up every day and not die that night. And that's exactly how I want to go through it.
The man who is just not an escapist.
Audience problem नहीं है, problem आप हो. There is nothing called nascent. I think if you have talent.
The man who believes in basics.
See, the easy part in life is you have to be very honest to your job and be good at your job. That's it.
One of the most humble guy.
कोई नहीं पूछता किसी गार्ड से उनका दिन कैसा जा रहा है. पूछने में कुछ घटता नहीं है.
The man who has not celebrated Diwali, a Hindu festival, for 16 long years.
दिवाली हो जाएगी तो दिवाली तब होती है जब जेब में पैसा होता है. आज मैं अपने घर में रहता हूँ. मेरी माँ जब सुबह की धूप सेकती है मेरे को आज भी दिवाली लगता है सुबह.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeeveshu, Ahluwalia.
Hey Jeeveshu, hi. Welcome to my channel, Absolutely Akhilee. This is my very first podcast. I'm doing it with you. And incidentally, I met you. You were the very first comic I met, and you are the first person on my podcast named as Sit Down with Stand-Ups.
Thank you. Thank you for having me over.
Jeeveshu, we'll just do a normal chit chat, a guftagu in this conversation of half an hour, 1 hour. And my very first question to you is, from corporate to comedy, how has your life changed?
So, when you start following a passion, obviously it gives you immense happiness for all the right reasons. You're doing it for the love of the art form and whatever it may be. It can be creative, it can be non-creative. Somebody can be a great CA or a great lawyer or a great doctor or a great pilot or a great engineer. So passion is just not limited to art form for that matter. The only difference between a corporate job and following anything which is fueled with passion is that you want to do something that you are in love with. It is a choice. In corporate life, largely, whatever corporate life we get into is not something we dreamt of when we were younger. We become a part of it because we have to make, standing in the society. We have to earn money. We have to earn 3 square meals a day. Get comfort. Whatever materialistic things that we look for. So difference, and I keep telling this to people: is it easy to follow passion? No, it is not. It is as difficult as any corporate job. The difference is when you go through really bad days of following your passion, which is maybe lack of money, lack of opportunity, lack of growth, like any other corporate scenario, you don't give up because you're in love with it. It is like being in love with your partner, your parents. You just don't give up on them, right? Your pets. So if I was to, for example, a very stupid example, this is, if I was to travel, like for example, last 3 days, I took 7 flights. If I was to take 7 flights from my office, I would have found an excuse to go to office late. If I could, or I would maybe call in a sick day or a sick leave. I'll just call it sick. But with passion, that 1 hour off on stage or 90 minutes on stage or 30 minutes or even 5 minutes on stage gives me enough energy to pull it through for the next one or even for that day. So you don't call in sick on things you love. That's the difference between corporate to passion, I think. Or maybe as much as I can explain, probably.
You're not forced to do this job because it's your passion, so you flow with it. Come what may.
Yeah, exactly. It's like being in love with your kid or being in love with your parents. It's very unconditional. No matter how bad the kid is, no matter how bad your parents are, and we all have bad parents or bad kids. You don't give up on them. There is always an eternal hope. So your jokes are like your kids. You don't give up on your jokes. You just hope and pray that they will work out for the best. Yeah.
And I've always seen you very comfortable on stage. You know, you have always had. Were you on stage ever in your school days or on your college days, or it is
No,
just the journey began right now?
no, I'm never comfortable on stage. I'm a very
Never.
good actor in that case. Yeah, I'm always a nervous wreck. I'm always a nervous wreck. Have I been on stage in my school and college? No. I had a very uh, poor schooling and a poor college. And when I say poor, I mean not in terms of money, but in terms of opportunities. In terms of, I was a bad kid probably. I was not the ace student who would go to theatrics or drama or do something worthwhile with their life. I was the guy who parents wouldn't want their kids to hang out with. I always had money on my mind. I always wanted to earn 3 square meals a day. I wanted to make a living because I had seen financial crisis very early on in my life. For me, it was largely that I wanted to make more money. So I would always find out reasons that I wanted to make money. How do I make more money? Yeah. So, but have I been on stage? Yeah, I mean, I've been on stage in terms of in my office orientation days when the new hires were brought in, and the HR people will come and call me like, why don't you meet the new batch? And since I was at the director level, it was easy for me to guide them, or not even guide them, just tell them hello, how are you, and we are lucky to have them in our office, and this is a great company, and the jobs are going to be amazing, and the opportunities will be amazing. So I think that is where I started my probably that is the only bit of stage time I've got, but I'm absolute a nerve wreck before I go up on stage every single time.
Probably the confidence was there in the DNA of
I
talking
don't
to
know. It
people
was
and
confidence.
not giving it back.
I don't know if it is a confidence. I am just too scared to get on stage every single time I go up. I'm always prepping up. I'm always pacing in and out. I shut myself off. I don't talk to people for 5-10 minutes at least before the show. I I think of good things in my life. I think of happy places in my mind. I hope and pray everything works out well when I go up on stage. People laugh and love and adore what I say. It's a very desperate attempt, and it is what it is. So yeah, I'm always very scared, and hopefully one day I won't be, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then what according to you comedy is? Like people call it latifa, chutkula, you know, kisi ko hasana. But kisi ko hasana is not an easy job. You know, it comes with a lot of preparation. So what kind of an art form it is, and do you think that theater is important to do this art form named as comedy?
I'm sure it's a value add. I don't think so. It is a prerequisite to be a theater person to do stand up. I am sure it does value add. If you are from theater, you have had experiences of performing in front of a crowd or doing monologues or dialogues and remembering things and performing, and that stage fright is in there. I'm sure it does play really well for people who have been from theater and started doing stand up. For me, stand up is, I think it is such a selfish art form. It's such a selfish, self-absorbed, self-centered art form that I write jokes about what I think is funny. I go up on stage and I expect people to pay money for it, give me time of their life, travel from wherever they travel, and then come and laugh at my jokes. I don't think so. I actually even consider what stand-up comedy is. I think that I'm so self-centered and so self-absorbed the whole time up on stage that I don't even pay attention to what comedy could be. I think tragedy plus time is comedy.
Yeah, you do
Anything
say
that,
this.
yeah, I mean, it's just that because anything which is like, I've never heard a good story wherein, or a funny story which things ended really well. Like I've never seen somebody saying that, oh, you know what, हम वो movie देखने गए थे and वो movie इतनी अच्छी थी and it ends. There is no fun part to it. It has to have an element of tragedy or a bad incident or a negative connotation. That is what you exaggerate and then twist it around to become funny about it.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's where the anecdote comes. You try comparing the situation
Anecdote,
from.
yeah. It can be anecdotes, it can be experiments, it can be observations, it can be storytelling, it can be anything. Yeah, yeah. Whatever works for you guys. Yeah.
So, and I remember from our previous conversation when we met that you told me there's always a bad comic but never a bad audience. So,
Yeah.
what do you
That's it.
have to say on this? Like, do you
So
feel?
look,
I just complete this question saying that
yeah.
you. I'm sure that you've been on stage so many times. And they would have been a situation, you have had the situation that आप स्टेज पे गए and पूरा माहौल मनहूस हो रखा है, everybody is
Right.
just staring at you like they are there to eat you up, and you are there to
Hmm.
make them laugh. So the
Correct.
energies are quite different. How you just
Correct.
collect yourself and radiate that energy into them and make that mahal a pretty positive one than it was before you came on stage.
So I don't think so. There is any science behind it. It is like figuring out a formula to make a hit movie. You don't. You largely prepare. If there is an audience that you're not prepared for, you go and prepare observations around them. You spend more time, write more things, research further. Anybody who pays money to see you, anybody who's hired you as a talent, anybody who's taken time out of their life to come and travel for you and spend that hour or hour and a half for you has every right to expect miracles out of you. You don't have any right to expect, as an artist, I can't have any right to expect that they should like and love what I do. It is just me saying that मैं खाना बनाता हूँ लेकिन अच्छा तुम्हें लगना ही चाहिए. That makes no sense. Um, so how do I do that? I just prepare hard enough. And do I have bad days? Yes. I think this is such an executional art form that every time you go up on stage and every bad show that you do, the frequency of bad shows comes lesser as you keep growing, and you learn farther and faster from it, so that you don't make the same mistakes again.
Any
For example,
example you want to share?
yeah, I mean, if I go to Chennai, I need to figure out that Delhi references wouldn't work in Chennai. If I'm doing a show in Bombay, I wouldn't have Chennai references in Bombay. It is just being very smart. You figure out what are the local nuances. You change and shift some points of your joke as per the local taste. Make them feel welcomed instead of offending them from point one or the word get go. And so I'll give you an example. If I'm going to do a show, and I did a show for um a private party where it was Agarwal family ki bahu ka pehla birthday, and I was roaming around inside the banquet hall or the lawn area that they had hired for the party. And I saw tikki जो serve कर रहे थे उसके साथ प्याज भी नहीं थी because they were vegetarian.
Yeah.
Now I cannot do anything related to sex, caste, creed, religion, and politics, because if they're not eating non-vegetarian food, uh, I don't think so. The energy to accept something on a negative or a taboo conversation will fly. I also saw a lot of women there who were at the age of about 50, 60, 65. So I need to start then thinking what material will click. This is research. This is observation, right? I cannot go up and keep doing my regular material because and then expect them to laugh, because it's not going to happen. So because they've hired you, they expect you to perform. You better bring your A game there, and you need to have your plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, whatever backup plan you have, carry it with you, so that if one doesn't work, you shift to the second one. So I just push hard enough. I think I just learn from every bad show, and I hope and pray it'll work.
Isn't it a lot of pressure at times? You have to switch through the jokes, and maybe you've prepared a set for that particular audience, and then all of a sudden you have to just revamp everything. How it comes with the experience, or how it comes
Yeah.
naturally to you?
So it comes with the experience also, and I think a stand-up comic is always a stand-up comic. They always find the funny nuances in daily incidents or daily workarounds. There are two type of comics. One is people who are similar personality off stage and on stage. There are people who are different personalities on stage and off stage. For me, I'm the first one. I'm the former. So for me, it is easier to shift those regular dialogues or regular jokes, because that is who I am off stage as well. Because I largely don't prep. Like, I'm not going with a certain frame set that this is what I'm going to do. I always see what will fly for first 30 seconds, and then is when I'll start taking them with me for the journey I would want to take them on. So is it pressure? No. As I said, the only difference between a corporate and passion is that no matter how bad, no matter how pressurized, no matter how tired, no matter how excruciatingly painful it may get, it'll still be better than any corporate day that you'll have. No. So I don't feel pressure.
And what is that one thought which comes to your mind just 15, 20 seconds before you hit on the stage?
I think of my mother and my wife, and I go up on stage just because those are my two happy spots. So I think of them, I visualize their faces before my mind and before my eyes, and I go up hoping and praying it'll work. Because I know these two people will be wanting for me to work it to make it happen. I know for sure that these two people will be expecting me to do well. So I think I carry my own audience in my mind. Like there are कोई नहीं हंसा ये दो तो हंसी रहे होंगे मेरे दिमाग में. So I carry them with me. Yeah, it's a stupid thing. Yeah.
If you would write a letter to a 20-year-old Jeeveshu, what
Yeah.
top three advice you will write on?
First advice: don't take advice. That'll be my first advice.
Okay.
And that's and second, I don't think so. There'll be second or third. That's where it ends.
Anything you want to tell to somebody, a younger version of yourself?
No, I think, see, the issue is that we look back at past because past was a good place. Past is always a good place to visit. It's a bad place to stay. I don't look back at life because you only look back at things that you had a great memory with, and your current situation isn't as great as compared to the last or the previous memory that you would want to have. I don't have that. Yesterday was the most amazing day I could have had. Today will be the most amazing day I will have. Do I remember those days with a smile? Absolutely. But do I remember my 20-year-old? Yeah, probably wear better clothes. Like, I don't know, lose weight. But nothing on life or as in general, I would give the advice to a 20-year-old Jeeveshu. Probably don't smoke, like maybe that. It's a bad and expensive habit to have. And one habit that I'm trying to quit, but not being able to. So yeah, I mean, nothing in the way of life I will give advice to a 20-year-old Jeeveshu. I think I'm very happy where I am, and I was very happy when I was 20 to wherever I was. And that it's not that I don't have regrets. I do. It's just that I don't. But those regrets were things that I wanted at that point. So
What was the regrets, if you want to
So,
tell?
for example, so let me put it this way. For example, if somebody tells me, okay, what regret do I have? I think probably I should not have shifted and jumped as many companies. I should have stayed in one company for a longer time. But at that point, I wanted a bigger salary or a bigger position or a bigger brand, right? So I wouldn't spend tenuity in any company more than 3 years or 4 years. So the regret is for that 26-year-old or 25-year-old or 20-year-old. At 43, I don't have that regret. So I do have regrets, but the regret is for that guy at that age, for that moment, for that incident. That regret
Any
stays with him.
advice for that guy? Had this been there, तो तब वो ऐसा situation नहीं होती.
I
Something
don't
if you
think
look
so.
back, नहीं?
I don't think so. I don't think so because every experience, every notion, every pothole, every speed breaker you go through, it makes you who you are. So I don't think so. I could have eliminated any part and be where I am or who I am now. So no. The only regret I've had is to have my father not being present in my life because he passed away when I was 4. One thing that I couldn't control was that. That's it. So I have regrets over things I can't control. I'm a control freak in that sense. I would want to control everything that is there for people I love and people I want to do things for. I would want them to be taken care of in every possible way I can. So yeah.
Any lowest moment in your life you want to share?
Yeah, a lot of lowest moments.
Just
My lowest moment.
one moment which you want to share.
Having a pet pass away. I think that is one of the lowest moments I have. Every day I see my mother getting old is a very low moment for me. Although she's as strong mentally as one can be, to see any wrinkle on her face makes me sad because it makes me realize that she's not going to be around forever as much as I would want her to be. Anytime I see anybody who's underprivileged than I am, anybody who's struggling to make ends meet, anybody who doesn't have food to eat, has less opportunities than I have anybody ill-treating an animal, are very low points in my life. So my lowest point this morning was when I had this road. There's a stray dog that I see every day because I go to a gym, and this stray dog had a wound on his back today, and I felt bad. My immediate grief moments are very immediate and they're very how do I say, very impressionable on me. However, low points on a daily basis I have. I'm sure you do too. Everybody has it.
Anything you
Yeah, yeah.
want on this note, I just want to say that anything you want to give it back to the society whenever you can in life कि मेरे को
Yeah.
you know मैंने ये achieve कर लिया अब मेरे को ये करना है society के लिए.
So I tried doing that by, for example, when COVID happened, none of my domestic help, none of my staff had any deduction in salary. Although I was not earning a penny, but I realized that I could have cut expenses at my end, but not give them a salary deduction. Because for them, that salary deduction would lead to less food on their plate. For me, curbing my a packet of a cigarette a day or curbing my shopping or curbing my fuel expenses is not going to hamper or alter my life to that extent. So I may not have the biggest things that I give back, but I do small things like there are a lot of security guards in my society or the colony that I live in. So every time I come back from them, I buy them ice creams or small Coke bottles or bhujia ke packet, and like things like that. Whenever I'm at a general store and I see somebody who's underprivileged, and you can make them out for the clothes they're wearing probably, or they're struggling to take out money, or they're asking for something which is dirt cheap, but then in their mind they're calculating money. So I pay for them. But these things I'm sure everyone does, so it's not something I do miraculously different. I'm sure you do it too. I'm sure everyone does it. I don't haggle with people who are less fortunate than I am. Like I don't haggle with auto walas, cab guys, street vendors. I don't haggle with anybody. Like वो जो roadside plates वगैरह बेचते हैं, जैसे lot of Banjara families, right? And लोग बहस कर रहे थे दिवाली पे. I remember I had gone out with my wife to shop and we bought like diya and Lakshmi Ganesh and like बहुत सारी चीजें दिवाली पे लेते हैं. And I think I bought something for like 4,000-5,000 rupees. And while I was coming back, my wife said, that this would have costed you like 1,200 or 1,500 or 2,000 at max if you were off season. I said, but you don't realize I have 5,000 to spend 365 days a year. He only makes that money probably 10 days a year. Even if I pay 3,000 more, that person is still going to stay on the road. Same way. Nothing will change in his life. He'll probably have an alcohol bottle that day. वो शायद उस दिन शराब पी लेगा या सिगरेट पी लेगा, राइट? या ज्यादा अच्छा खाना खा लेगा. लेकिन वो 3,000 रुपए ज्यादा देने से मेरा घर बिक के मैं रोड पे नहीं आने वाला. So I take that, and I'm sure it's just not me. I think it's just being simple human. I think everybody does it. So would I want to do something? Yeah, I would want to buy a massive piece of land and adopt all animals who need help, care, and attention.
That's what I wanted to know. That's something, something which is.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of humans. So yeah, like a massive, like कुछ 100 एकड़ जमीन हो मेरे पास and जिसमें घोड़े, गधे, कुत्ते, गाय, बिल्ली, सब जानवर. And yes, and also build a school for free education for underprivileged girls only. Yeah. Because my mother has always wanted to open up a school for just girls, free education. Because when you educate a woman, you educate 5 people around her, a son, a brother, a husband, a father, whoever, right? When you educate a man, you probably get this, like, so stupid. So yeah, do those two things if I ever have enough money.
And something you enjoy doing and you wish you have time for it.
Spend
because
money.
as you recently said that you took some 7 flights in 3 days or something like that.
Yeah, spend money. I love spending money. Shopping. I love shopping. I am a compulsive shopper. But if I had time to, if I had time, I would take my mother out for trips. I think that is one regret I always have. Like that's one. No, my mother to take out on trips. Like take her to Amritsar, like Darbar Sahab, take her to places that she possibly physically cannot be going on her own. To take my mother out for trips, yeah. Like to take her out on a vacation or holy places that she's not very religious. She's always been religious, but like उनको ऐसी जगहें दिखाऊं जो उन्होंने नहीं देखी है. तो वो एक रहता है थोड़ा सा. अब जैसे आप मेरे पास टाइम है तो उनको लेके नहीं जा सकता बिकॉज कोविड है. कोविड हट जाएगा तो रोजी रोटी कमानी तो फिर नहीं जा सकते. खत्म वही कहानी खत्म हो जाती है मेरी.
नहीं ले जाना तो है.
Yeah,
मम्मी ने
these are
बहुत
the
साथ दिया जोक्स में, मम्मी को ले जाना तो बनता है.
exactly. Royalty
मम्मी
बनती है.
is the prime pillar of all the Jeeveshu's
Yeah,
episode. Yeah,
yeah.
मम्मी को ले जाना
So
बनता है, ब्रेक
I
लेना भी
agree.
बनता है.
Exactly.
Jeeveshu, you personally can't survive on 5 sets, 10 sets. So
Yeah,
how is this journey from a raw joke to a finished joke? How long
yeah.
it takes, and your journey, because the content you have on YouTube, you cannot say it loud in the practical, like everyday life whenever you're going
Yeah,
to perform. So how you come up with this? I know experience, I know you absorb a lot of content, but the journey between a raw and a finished joke.
so I, by principle, I don't do anything which is on YouTube in a live scenario because people have had the luxury to watch that YouTube video for free. And if they're paying money for a ticket, then I would want them to hear something they've not heard before or have not witnessed before. Um, so writing a joke and making a joke funny is like shorthand and typing or any practicing skill. It's a very old saying in Hindi, karat karat abhyas ke jad mat yo sujan, rasiya wo jaat rahe, right? Um, so the more you practice, the better it gets. I have had jokes which I wrote like 3 years ago and they're funny now. For 3 years, they kept dying. For 3 years. There are jokes, for me, I consider as 100 times. If I do a joke 100 times, it gets better and better. And at 100 time, if it is not working, I retire it for a time and then I'll come back and revisit again. So I do a joke 100 times to figure out if, so that means 100 shows for a joke to become funny. There are some jokes which take shorter, but the longest I will go for is for 100 shows. And how does it become better? Um, it, it's like raising a kid, and you can see the kid witnessing. You can witness the kid doing silly things. Like जैसे वो चप्पल पहन के भाग रहे हो वो गिर जाएगा.
Yeah.
जूते पहन के जाना चाहिए या सीढ़ियां 2-3 करके वो चढ़ रहा है तो वो गिर जाएगा.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a joke, it's like a kid. You're making them run a free run, but you're also watching them very closely. So every time they fall, you know what to correct. And you hope and pray that it'll be corrected, but then it may just fall flat. And then you go back again and do it again, and then you go back again and do it again.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I want to ask about your amazing fitness journey. From Jeeveshu,
Better.
I've met two
Yeah.
Jeeveshus are there and one Jeeveshu. And two
Yes.
Jeeveshu, half of my screen right now, just accommodating there. So,
Yeah.
and you know what? When today you are on stage, you might have seen there's a difference in how audience or people treat you while you're, your bigger form and to your form. Have you noticed that change? Is there some difference in your confidence when today you get on stage and when 2 years back you used to get on stage?
So I always used to fear this that अगर मैं मोटे से पतला होने की कोशिश करूंगा मैं funny नहीं रहूंगा. That was the biggest fear, or maybe that was an alibi in my mind. I could just justify that not losing weight process in my mind. Yeah, that if I lose weight, I will not have any jokes. I don't think so. Audience looks at you as a fat comic or a comedian who is fat. Audience loves you for the experience you give it to them. People don't love Amir Khan for the way he looks because he looks entirely different today to what he used to look 30 years ago.
Correct.
It is what his movies make them feel, right? वो Three Idiots याद करते हैं, वो दिल चाहता है याद करते हैं, या वो दंगल याद करते हैं. They relive the experience. So audience, for that matter, is more receptive and less critical of how you look. I think I'm only critical of how I look and how I perceive myself. So full credit to our audience. They have not loved me less if I've lost weight, and they have not loved me less when I was overweight. They've always given me more love and more than my share and anything I ever deserved or could have asked for. However, it is my duty to be healthy, if not for anyone else, but for myself.
Oh, yes.
And the confidence, no, it's not there. Confidence doesn't come with. I think I was very confident when I was fat, and I'm extremely confident even now. But I'm equally insecure that I was earlier, and I'm an equally insecure guy now. So those things have not gone away. I don't think so. That has to do with.
The eye of people have not changed for you. It
No, I
remains
think
the
that is kind of them, though. It has nothing to do with me. They are the kinder people. They are the bigger people to do that. I have no role to play in it.
So,
Yeah.
towards the end, Jeeveshu, I want to ask you that one advice you want to give it to the aspiring comic who is just starting, or a budding comic.
Write original content, get up on stage. These are the two things you need to do. Write original content, get up on stage. That's it. There is no other feedback that they need. Every time an audience smiles at a joke that they have done, every time an audience laughs at the joke that they have done, is the feedback they want or need or will ever need or ever will require. Nobody else on earth should have anything else to do. If they are planning to do stand up, that they need to write original content, get up on stage. That's it. And don't ask for advice. Don't. दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? So take that off your mind. You can't have opinions. You can't have suggestions. सुनो सबकी करो अपने मन की. That's my motto. Like मैं सुनता सबकी. Like everybody comes and gives me advice, right? Everybody. But I still do what I want to do. I'm a very strong-headed guy like that. So yeah.
This is awesome. Okay. We are towards. I mean, I was hoping for some big, heavy advice, and
No, but there's none. So it's
that you should do your joke like this, you should break it down like this.
God no. God no. Because there is no science behind it. It's like asking. Let me ask you, what's your favorite all-time movie?
All-time movie, Dangal.
Dangal,
I'm
right?
prepared
Dangal.
with this.
Okay, Dangal. So for example, Dangal, right? And how many times have you watched it?
2 to 3 times, 3 times max.
Even if I was to ask you to ape the movie, screen by screen, frame by frame, word by word, dialogue by dialogue, and shot by shot, you'd still not be able to ape it.
Yes, totally. I'll not be able to.
Correct. Now, I can guarantee this, that no person on earth has the secret to success. That there's a defined formula. What you do is that you keep going there up every day and keep doing it. So that's why, like, you write original material, you get up on stage. So with movies or anybody which has a proven formula which lies at the end of the audience, because they are the ones who are deciding it, you can only prepare. So anybody who wants to make a movie should just hope and pray the script is good, the actors are good. That is what you two things you have. And once you get them together, probably it'll lead to a better result. Probably it may not be. It is a very big gamble. So any suggestions I give may or may not work for anybody. And maybe my suggestions are limited to my biased opinion of what works for me. So it may or may not work. You need to have advice from a 43-year-old divorced, remarried, overweight, diabetic guy who stays with his mother to have the similar pattern of life to run through with my suggestions. And that is never going to happen. Yeah.
I mean, continuing to this, I'm just thinking that one thing is coming to my mind, that some 10 years back and 8 years back when you started your journey, I remember we discussed this. You might have been like 10 and 15 people, and few of them had reached to the top.
Mhm.
So,
Correct.
do you think, and few of them are still trying to be there. So,
Correct.
do you think you've done something extra that those few are left behind and some of you have gone touch the sky?
The beautiful part about life is that there will always be somebody who's ahead of you, and there will always be somebody who will be behind you
Behind.
or left behind, right?
That's
Did I do something extra? No. No, I don't. I don't think so. I did anything extra. I was just at the right place at the right time. And people who have gone ahead of me, have they done something extra? I would like to believe that they have done something extra, because I couldn't get that level of success. But I don't think so. Anything else I would have done differently. People who have been maybe fallen behind, so to say, they were just, probably they missed the bus. Probably they missed the opportunity.
So
Yeah,
we are on the last leg of our show,
sure.
and we'll quickly play this game. Answer in a flash.
A
Yeah?
flash. Okay, like a rapid
In a
fire.
flash. Yeah, so you have to quickly answer it without thinking
Okay.
much about it. Yeah.
Sure.
So my first question is that what keeps your clock ticking? Is it manifestation, discipline,
Money. Already earned it. Sorry, I'm just messing with you. Sorry. Yeah.
I just think that what keeps your clock ticking? Is it manifestation, self motivation, or discipline?
Neither. It's a great answer. I mean, you said flash, so I answered neither.
Okay, that's what it is then. What keeps ticking?
To bring a smile for people, to bring a smile on people I love. That's it. To bring a smile onto their faces. That's it.
Do you
That's
not
it.
give any credits to that you are disciplined and self motivated and blah? No?
Zero, please. Like I'm zero on self motivation and discipline. Like if I could be an example of self motivation and discipline, भगवान ही जानता है कितनी low level of expectation है लोगों की. बिल्कुल भी नहीं.
Okay. If you have only one choice, what would that be? Dog or a child?
Dog.
That was quick.
Dog. Yeah.
A new Jeeveshu will prefer a handmade black coffee or बाहर का बढ़िया cold coffee.
With current health scenario, handmade black coffee. In previous health scenarios, बाहर का cold coffee.
अभी new Jeeveshu we are talking about.
Black
The
coffee.
squeezed version.
Black coffee. Without sugar, yeah.
Best place to be on stage, at home, or on vacation.
At home.
At home.
At home. Yeah.
Yes, sir. If you were asked to stick to this career, what will that be? A comedy or acting? As you have done both.
Comedy. Acting is a derivative of comedy. Comedy will never take a backseat. Ever. Ever.
So comedy any given day.
Yeah. Because of comedy, I got acting. I can't leave what led me to be there. Can't.
Any last
See
word
you.
to the
Bye-bye.
audience you want to give it?
Yeah, thank you for being there for me. I could not have asked for a better thing in my life. Please subscribe to her channel, Sit Down with Stand-ups. So, a very original name, and she has this poster right behind her. So, yeah, please.
Thanks. That's
please,
absolutely
please,
Akhilee.
Absolutely, Akhilee. So, please, and the name is different, very different like mine. So, please go ahead and subscribe to her channel and share and share and subscribe and share. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeeveshu. Thank you so much. Pleasure meeting
Not
you.
a problem. Always a
Bye.
pleasure.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.